Now, Hollywood may be relinquishing some of that Trump hate from its heart. Consider this, actor Morgan Freeman, who we all know endorsed Hillary Clinton, declaring, quote, "I'm not scared. I'm holding out hope that Donald Trump has to be a good president. He cannot not be. What I see is a guy who will not lose." Of course, I wish I had that Morgan Freeman voice to say it. And joining me now to discuss, Danielle McLaughlin and Christopher Bedford. Danielle, we also saw Matthew McConaughey say some great things. And yet, you know, we saw the Women's March, and then there were some crazy tweets from Sarah Silverman, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe some people are coming around to the idea that, hey, first of all, it's reality. Secondly, here's a guy who's won all of his life.
Sure. I mean, we could say he started on third base, but that's an entirely different conversation. We have to hope for the success of the president, whoever that president is, because the president's success is our success. I think that's a fundamental.
Although, are you concerned, though, that if he's ultimately very successful, particularly at things that he talked about this afternoon, for instance, on his Facebook address, helping inner cities, if he can revitalize parts of this nation that Democrats have failed for 50 years, I mean, that means the Democrats never get elected again. They never get back into the White House. Are you rooting for that?
No, I'm absolutely not. I think what we will see probably is what we've seen over the history of modern history of this country, which is a pendulum. We have a two-party system, and what will happen if Trump does well, he's going to achieve some things. He's not going to achieve everything, and we may see a pendulum swing back the other way in 4 or 8 years. That's just kind of how it goes.
Do we have the Sarah Silverman tweet? Anyway, here it is, guys. Wake up and join the resistance. Once the military is with us, fascists, we get with us. Fascists get overthrown. Mad King and his handlers go bye-bye. Now, Chris, you walked that back a little bit today, but these are the kind of inflammatory statements that, I mean, I thought there was a time people would actually go to jail for stuff like that.
You know, I was down at the Women's March for about 6 hours, and I couldn't even hear the speakers because it was so crowded. There were so many people. And what I saw generally down there were a very wealthy group of people out with their families, and they were protesting, and they were definitely left-leaning, and some of the younger people were nuts. And then I got back, and I heard what the celebrities, people like Madonna, people like Sarah Silverman, who wasn't there, were saying on the stage. It was completely insane, completely out of touch, and it's just removed from the experience of average Americans. And I think that Morgan Freeman and some of these guys have the right idea. It's obvious that Donald Trump actually will forgive you. He'll sit down with Mitt Romney. He'll have a George Bush at his ceremony. The way to his heart is to not consistently attack. And if they want to have a voice in the room over the next 4 years, they better tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, don't forget Ashley Judd. I mean, I thought she was going to break out rattlesnakes or something. I mean, she was right there on the cusp of something that was like, you know, dark clouds, lightning bolts, and but so what do you make of it? Because I think that it's actually, again, hurting the cause when these celebrities, they're celebrities, but what they say, it didn't help Hillary Clinton get elected. And they've distanced themselves, to Christopher's point. They reiterated the point that they're so detached from what's happening with regular people who are just trying to pay rent or pay their mortgage.
The first thing I want to say is that I was at the Women's March as well, and this idea that it was somehow only wealthy women who are well-heeled, maybe not wearing Ivanka Trump dresses, it's just was not my experience at all. We had Tea Party marches in 2009, so it's not just liberals who get out there and who make a noise about things.
No, but I went to about a dozen Tea Party marches, and they marched, they said what they had to say, they cleaned up after themselves. There was no vulgarity. There was nothing there that you would be ashamed. If you took your 5-year-old daughter to a Tea Party thing, you might see someone in a powdered wig. That was as close as it got. The outrage that we saw down there was really, I mean, you wouldn't take a kid to that.
No, and I'm not going to defend what Madonna said, and I'm not going to defend what Sarah Silverman said on Twitter.
I hope not. You could get arrested. You don't have her lawyers.
So the other thing we have to remember is that Donald Trump called for revolution in 2012 when Obama won. So this president has had some of his own problems with getting a little bit out of hand.
Now, who would have thought? Maybe some people did. Matthew McConaughey, I just wanted to let you know what he said. He said, well, they don't have a choice now. He is our president. It's time for us to embrace and shake hands with this fact and be constructive with him over the next 4 years. Christopher, I really hope that's what it comes down to. I just hope there's, you know, be the loyal opposition, but give it more than 2 weeks and let's see what happens.
I sure hope so, because the tension is so high. I don't think I can't recall at any point in my life, albeit short, that we've seen any kind of tension this high. I mean, friends aren't talking to each other as much. Political conversation is being banned, and people are ripping signs down, attacking each other, lighting fires. If this doesn't slow down, if people don't begin to calm down and end this Donald Trump frenzy and this craziness they're having, then I'm worried that there's going to be violence that's actually going to matter, and people could lose their lives. And we're coming toward that moment.
Yeah.
So I hope these celebrities take a little bit of the lead and do calm it down and say, you know what, this is actually not Hitler, literal Hitler. This
Right.
is Donald Trump. He's president
Right.
of the United States.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a legitimate concern. A lot more people are voicing. Guys, thank you both very much. Coming up.